Hi everyone, this is the problem-solving presentation by TSgt Nunez, TSgt Echevarria, and TSgt Harris.
Hello, I am Technical Sergeant Echevarria, and I'll be doing the introduction to our problem-solving statement group presentation. First, we will define a problem, then make a problem statement. After that, we will go into generate alternate solutions, selecting one of those solutions, and then finally implementing it. Then after the implementation of those solutions, we will see if that solution has resolved the problem. The scenario that was chosen is as follows. Leadership has been getting upset at the fact that projects being tasked out to airmen are falling behind schedule. Due to projects falling behind schedule, leadership has reprimanded an NCO when a project took too long to complete. The tasking leadership has done for the airmen, which has hindered the project, is beautification of the building and the surrounding areas. That will typically last a whole day. Due to the due to the tasking by leadership, airmen are unable to devote time to their project taskings. In this scenario, the statement problem is leadership allocating individual more towards beautification than allow them to fulfill the mission's project. The three different frames that this problem can be viewed from is as followed. The first is from the leadership framework. Leadership is seen this as an NCO's issue, since they see it as NCOs not enforcing standards on airmen. It's why the mission projects are not being completed on time. The second framework is from the airman side. They are being tasked out by leadership to do beautification instead of being tasked to finish their projects. But due to them being tasked by leadership to do beautifications, projects are falling behind due to not being able to work. And due to low manning, no one else can do the project besides the airmen. The final one is from the NCO's framework. NCOs is seen as leadership improperly allocating the manning and resources. The framework that we have chosen is the final one from the NCO's perspective, as NCOs see leadership improper allocation of manning and resources. But due to this is a very complicated issues because leadership and NCOs are not communicating properly. Leadership is using their manning resource poorly. Communication is not being spoken to between leadership and NCOs correctly because leadership is saying we want these projects done on time, but at the same time they're asking NCOs to lend out airmen to do other remedial tasks that's making projects fall behind. So communication between the two groups is is a failure on their part, and also as a failure on leadership parts as to having poor resource management. Due to low manning, there is not enough airmen to do beautification and to do projects at the same time. But due to leadership seeing beautification as a priority, they are giving the impression beautification of the building and area around the building is more important than the projects they want for the mission. So, in the next section is where we'll be discussing how we analyze this problem. We will generate several solutions, select one of those solutions, and see if we could implement that solution to see if that will resolve the issue at hand.
Root cause analysis. Finding the true root cause is a vital concept in figuring out the deep-seated factors of this problem existing. The 5 whys method of the RCAs is to peel away the symptoms of a problem such as this, where leadership cared more about the remedial projects and unit beautification than the mission at hand. We are able to come down with some somewhat clear solutions to the questions, and the main root cause is we believe that leadership wants to look good and have consistent unit projects in order to impress others above them. It tends to be a complicated endeavor. We can look over to the left and see why did this happen. Leadership wanted to achieve tasks around the squadron, but the evidence was unfinished painting and projects. Kept piling on more and more tasks to get more and stuff completed. Why should we fix this issue? It's taking manning away from the work centers. The work centers can't get a lot of work done as evidence. They request more manning or allow people not to do the remedial tasks. Why is it inoperable in the current situations? It's taking people away from doing their primary jobs. It shows by their lack of training and job knowledge. So all individuals should be able to develop their work skills before being tasked. Why would we benefit from doing this? To allow all the shops to be well manned and ready to go. The mission at hand and effectiveness is slowly degrading because of the loss of manpower. The actual mission is critical, so allow work centers to bring people back. Why wasn't this accomplished before now? Leadership was more dead set on having things look good than run well. Constant beautification projects around the unit are evidence of this as we continue to flourish. Care less about the constant need for looks and care more about the impact of the mission and your people. This is the fishbone diagram. Utilizing the fishbone diagram gives you the ability to produce many causes of the problem at hand and better aid you in finding a solution. Mostly categorization. Most individuals use the 3 M's and 1 P approach to the diagram to get a better understanding of what each situation entails. There are other approaches such as the 4 S and the 4 P's. For this project, we went with our own approach in order to tailor it to the issue at hand. When generating solutions to the issue, we must remember that more solutions the better. Quantity over quality for the initial start. Your solution should be effective, viable, and feasible for them to be successful. Summarization of generated solutions. Solution number 1. We saw a potential option of teaming up an NCO with airmen tasked out to ensure the success of the project or task at hand by enforcing timetables and standards. Solution number 2 was there was an option to create a shift or work center roster to ensure that individuals weren't the same ones getting tasked out constantly, and it would take progress of those tasked out for responsibility and accountability. Solution number 3 was standing up to the senior NCOs and leadership when airmen were tasked by giving them respectful feedback and discussing how the necessary training workloads can't be accomplished with low manning in projects. Also mentioning of how this directly affects positive outcome of the mission and its impact. We can see here on the decision analysis matrix, by being rational and confident in your decisions are key to picking the correct one for each situation. Each situation is different, so ensuring that you weigh all your options on the table properly is critical. You can see over here in this specific case, we weighted the factors out from 4, 3, and 3 for a total of 10 on the weighted scale. We had the factors of effectiveness, viability, and feasibility, which are the 3 main ones that you really want to deal with when you're making a decision. Solution number 1 was it had a total of overall 5 when we looked at the scale. Solution number 2 had an overall of 6. And then the last solution that we came to a group consensus with was that the solution number 3, discussing everything, had a total of 9. The only one that was marked down was viability because sometimes you never know how things are going to work out when you discuss things with others with other viewpoints.
Hello everyone, I'm Technical Sergeant Edwin Nunez, and in this portion I'm going to be talking about the good planning and preparation and how we've implemented a solution in this situation. One of the things we talked about is presenting the issue to the leadership as being that NCO being put in that position. So one of the things you want to consider is, okay, this NCO is getting reprimanded and he can't find time, or they can't find time to finish their projects and get things done. However, the airman keeps getting taken away, to do beautification, painting, or whatever the projects may be that doesn't contribute to the actual Air Force mission. Some of the things that we considered was weighing the cost and the effects of the mission. So contracting, having a contractor or pricing out a contractor in order to do some of these projects as moving, painting, re-beautification, and weighing that over, the actual time the airman is getting paid, their salary, the project they're doing, what delay mission their projects are having for not getting done, what it's costing the Air Force, how much it's costing the Air Force for not getting these projects done on time. Is there a way to put out a task for volunteering to help this organization with this, due to we have these projects? Is it a real high priority? There's several things that, we consider before implementing a solution. We thought of different ways that we could approach this. So the first is coming up, the NCO having that dialogue with the senior NCO or whoever is leading these projects and coming up with a negotiation. Hey, I can give you this many airmen, or I can only provide you one for this, but you need to go look for some thing somewhere else. Because if I keep giving you bodies, then I can't get what you want this set done. Unless you want to put this on the back burner and, delegate your priorities to us. Tell me, hey, look, what are your priorities? What are the Air Force priorities? Then that way we could come up with a common ground to, okay, Sergeant Nunez, we will only work on this so-and-so these days, or Sergeant Harris will work on so-and-so these days, or Sergeant Echevarria will work on so-and-so these days. Just using our names as examples. After considering all aspects, the NCO proposed to the leadership, they came to a common ground to where leadership realized, hey, look, this is affecting the Air Force mission. This is affecting the projects that's going on in order to keep pushing the mission forward. Like, we will hold off on these or solicitate volunteers throughout the base to help us with these as they can, or your guys can help us as they can, in order to continue the mission. So they were able to come together and work on these projects, knock them out on a timely manner, catch up for lost time, and this way the NCO didn't get reprimanded for missing a deadline for a project again. This gave back the airmen work satisfaction. This gave back the airmen morale, because they did not like doing those other extra things. As an airman, we want to make sure we're doing our job. We're doing what we get paid to do. Nobody came into the United States Air Force to be a painter. Nobody came in the United States Air Force to be a beautification person. We came in to do a mission. So that's the pride we came in with. And I think having those airmen focusing on those projects that they can finish gives them that job satisfaction back. And I think that's what we came up with, the collaboration and the solution. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Sergeant Harris so he could close up the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Summary and overview. Overall, we came together and negotiated effectively as a cohesive unit to produce an active issue. Even if we all came at the problem or situation at hand with different domain mindsets, we were able to build upon each other's ideas. By consistently brainstorming, reviewing, analyzing, and preparing and planning, we were able to have a great outcome. As we continue to grow as leaders and individuals with problem-solving skills, we must continue to withhold judgment, encourage freewheeling, aim for quantity of new ideas, and hitchhike into free thinking. These rules will help us build others up in many situations, no matter if we take a different structured, unstructured, or silent approach to all these situations. To be an effective problem solver, we must always ensure the four-step method of defining the problem, generating alternate solutions, selecting an effective solution, and implementing the solution and monitoring the results. Integrating this info into our everyday lives will ensure the most success. We were able to capture all of that in this problem at hand.